Are there still deals in real estate? Is house hacking dead? I actually want to show you today that those statements are actually false. You absolutely can find deals. House hacking is not dead. We're actually in one of the most expensive postal codes here in Canada. Today we're in Oakville to go check out Jack Bernstein's house hack. Let's go knock on his door and we'll take you for a whole tour of his property and show you how he's actually living less now than he was 5 years ago. Let's go check it out.
Hey, Jack, what's going on, Corey?
Man?
How are you?
Awesome, man. Thanks for taking some time. Let's go check out your new place here.
Come on in.
All right, guys, so again, we're here with Jack, and Jack is a serial entrepreneur, been investing in real estate for about 6 years right now. Beautiful property here, but this isn't the first time he's ever bought real estate or done a house hack. So Jack, tell us a little bit about yourself really quick. And this is obviously years and years in the making. So what goes through your head as a younger person who's trying to get in the market when it comes to house hacking? A lot of people think that this is out of reach, but how did you first get started with your first house hack?
So just like everybody else, had a lack of experience and most importantly, a lack of finances on the first deal. So the biggest thing for me was being able to buy an asset, get into the market, without obviously impeding my lifestyle in my 20s. So came out, looked for a strategic property that I knew I could do a duplex conversion on that was easy with limited resources. So basically picked up a property in Oakville in end of 2016, 2017. Did about a $25,000, $30,000 renovation on there. Stumbled along the way a lot, but was able to actually put a tenant downstairs in that lower unit for $2,100, which offset my carrying costs and allowed me to basically keep more of my corporate job income and funnel that back into real estate to start the growth of my portfolio.
Yeah, so when you say converted, you actually found a single family home and you were able to turn it into 2 units.
Yeah, so just like everybody else, I was looking for some sort of edge, right? So how do I get this property and be able to make it happen? So the first thing was find it in a great area where I knew I could charge lots of rent. Find a distressed asset, which I knew, in the market back then, that was when the stress test was just getting introduced and there was another dip in the market. So that was something that it kind of forced me to basically take action at the same time. And especially finding a property that I knew that had certain attributes to it that would allow for the conversion to be easier. I stumbled along the way, but in the end I persevered and got it done, and it allowed me to really kind of focus on everything else.
Yeah, it worked out well. And you obviously bought a lot of income properties between that time, and you sold it for a win, and you were actually kind of renting and stuff for the summertime. And then tell us a little bit about how this property here came about. We're going to give you a full tour, so make sure you guys stick right to the very end so you can see all the cool features of this place. There's Airbnb units here. There is 3,000 square feet of living area that Jack gets to enjoy. So, how'd you find this one here, Jack? You're obviously on the hunt for a while.
So I was on the hunt for a while, and I came with this plan about 5 years ago to try to house hack at a higher level. So I wanted to buy a house between 4,000 to 5,000 square feet that I could basically build 2 auxiliary units in and still have about 3,000 square feet for myself. So about 6 to 7 months ago, I went on a hunt and looked at about 50 or 60 properties with the intention of basically 3 things. I wanted a place that was easy to convert to build the auxiliary units. It had to be in a fantastic location. And then it also had to be from a distressed seller in some different way, shape, or form. And all that kind of helped coinciding with the market. So I knew when I saw this place and I walked through, instantly I fell in love with it. And one of the most important reasons why, because it's in one of the most affluent postal codes in Canada, and especially in Southern Ontario. And when I looked at the appreciation growth potential for it, I knew this had to be the one.
So all that's awesome there, Jack, but people want to actually see the rest of the house here. So let's go check out your Airbnb unit, one of them downstairs. You just finished renos, you literally got this thing ready in 3 weeks, which is crazy. You literally had 6 people here working the first day. Let's go see what they actually got done for you.
Let's do it. So just coming down here, so this was just a living room before, basically, where it just walked down, very similar kind of railings here. So the biggest thing with having a unit like this is obviously soundproofing, making sure it's insulated, and then most importantly, if it's an Airbnb unit, you need to make sure you're secure and have privacy on it.
Yes.
So steel door, reinforced frame and all that kind of stuff. All right, Corey, so this is the Airbnb unit that we're still just finishing up here, but this unit actually kicked off 3 weeks ago. So we had contractors ready for the day I got keys.
Looks super nice here, man. Definitely you did a really nice reno. What did this cost you here, Jack? And what do you think you could get for rent down here?
So I put about 15,000 in here. The kitchen was not here. And then there were some touch-ups in the bathroom and obviously some finishings and furnishings and whatnot. I would say conservatively, I'll probably get $3,500 a month, 4,000 on the top end, but I'm running my numbers more so around 3,000 just in case.
Yeah, I know they got like their own patio area, and I think this was the one that has their own driveway.
Yeah.
What's your vision here? You see people staying in here for like, yeah, I'm sure you don't want to do nightly turnover. Like I'm sure you'd like to see people here for like a week or two. People just want to kind of like set up shop for a little bit longer. You collect more rent. What's your vision for this unit?
So the premise was basically build it for an STR, but then also have the vision that if I had to put a long-term tenant in here, that I also could. And then obviously, with it being kind of a forever home for me, I want to be able to convert it back at some point and maybe use it as like living space or when friends come over and things like that. But the biggest thing, that it kind of came to is how can I level up my house without having to impede my lifestyle?
Yeah.
And this kind of just helped, bring some of the costs down for the house. Because it is a nice area, I had to go with a lot of more expensive finishes and things like that you might not typically go with in another area, but the return's there.
Yeah, it's a one-time investment, so it's worth investing in.
Exactly.
So what did your contractors have to do here? So some things were existing, some things you had to build in. I know you got the steel door here, you got the security lock. This nook was probably already here for the bed. Is this kitchen new or?
Yeah, so we had to frame all this out, soundproof it, insulate it, steel security door, all that. Over here, we actually had to do a lot of new wiring and then upgrade the panel. And then there was a lot of different electrical and pot lights and things like that we wanted to add in. But the most important part was basically building the kitchenette over here. So I wanted to have something that was just kind of a really clean look that someone could maybe come and stay here for a couple weeks and really feel like they're at home. And then also kind of get that feeling that, they have their own space and they can be comfortable here as well.
They've got their own privacy because the backyard slopes off here as well. And it's kind of like a little oasis for them.
So this is kind of like the biggest feature of it. We have a full legal second driveway coming from the road that holds 4 cars, which brings you to this unit. They have their own patio, and then they actually have a 30 by 60 foot own segregated part of the backyard.
Oh, wow.
For them to use in the summer. So, it creates a really kind of cool atmosphere where you just can't get that in a lot of other products, especially in the area.
Yes. Now I know your other, short-term rental unit is occupied, but is it about the same size, about the same decor?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this house is that it actually drops down to another floor. As I mentioned, it's a 7-level side split. So we have a very similar size unit down there. We had a short-term tenant that's actually become a long-term tenant in there. Unfortunately, they work from home as a lot do now, so we can't really kind of tour in there. Yeah.
But very similar size, about 350 square feet.
Exactly, so that unit's really cool actually too. It has a basement walkout that goes to kind of like a common area. And in that common area, they have, some storage, coat rack, closet, things like that. And then it brings them into their unit where they have a really cozy, quiet area for them.
Cool. Well, hey, let's go actually check out the rest of your living quarters because they're really nice. So who wouldn't want to have 3,000 square feet to themselves? So let's go into Jack's office here and talk all about the numbers of the property. All right, cool, Jack. So we already saw a little bit of your main floor, but we went up a few stairs here. This is like your office level. This is technically a bedroom, but what have you done with this area here?
Yeah, so this was previously being used as a bedroom. There's a pretty big family that was here before, but it's always been really important to me to kind of build a safe place where I can come and just turn everything off and really focus on work and buckle down. Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like the perfect space to have an office.
So we're in the master here. This is beautiful here, Jack. Tell us a little bit about it. You got some really cool features in here, and I guess there's like a major renovation that was done in this house like 4 years ago. They spent a crazy amount of cash on it.
Yeah, so in 2018, there was about $1 million reno that the previous homeowners undertook on the property. As you can see, everything was kind of done fully custom, state of the art. The whole house is a smart home. But for me, just having, another comfortable space to be able to rest my head at night is fantastic. Now, the interesting thing about this floor being the top floor from where the bottom floor is, it's actually about a 60-foot difference from street level because of where the house and how it's built into the hill. So it kind of gives you a unique view from around the property and things like that. And you really feel like you're almost like in a little apartment or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. You got some cool stuff going on in the bathroom. You want to show us some of the cool features that the last owners probably spent way too much money on?
Yeah, let's do it. So a couple really cool noticeable features in here. So the first one is basically the reciprocating water tap right here. So what you do is you actually take the Fahrenheit adjuster and take the exact water control that you want, the water temperature. And basically what it does is it allows you to never have a cold shower. So you pick the exact temperature you want. When you turn it on, the water is always at that temperature.
Wow. First world problems here for sure.
Exactly. So over here, we got this really cool timer. And basically you just pick how long you're gonna shower for, and what it does is it warms your towel up and then heats the floor up for you. So right when you come out of the shower, you know, it's a nice cozy environment again. Gets you up and running quicker.
This is fantastic, right? So, you know, you're seeing this as kind of like your forever home. You want to build a family here, and, you know, great school district as well. That's why a lot of people want to be in this postal code.
Absolutely. And like, you know, being able to live in a property like this and then not have it impede my lifestyle from a cash perspective, you know, is a dream come true. And it just shows that house hacking is possible at all the different levels. It doesn't just have to be on your first property. You know, you can basically build it up kind of all the way to the top to whatever kind of property you want to have, and still have privacy and some of the other things that, you know, people sometimes take for granted.
Well, yeah, I know people are probably dying to see the numbers, so let's go back in your office and we'll just, you know, whiteboard this out here to see how this makes sense.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, Jack. So people that are watching this video are usually investors, and they're dying to know the numbers, as I am too. So take us through like purchase price, expenses, rents. Like, why does this make sense, you know, for Jack Bernstein?
Sure. So purchase price was $2,030,000.
What was it listed at?
The house was listed at $2.4 million.
Money on the buy.
That's it. And it appraised for $3 million basically, you know, 12 months ago. So the way I looked at it was I was buying a $3 million asset for $2 million. Now, with that being said, you know, I have a higher carrying cost, right? So my carrying cost, basically with utilities and everything, is about $10,000 a month. But with that being said, I have 3 sources of income on the property. So I have the first unit, which I'm getting $1,850 for. I have the Airbnb suite, which I'm getting roughly $3,500 to $4,000 for. And then I have a family member who travels a lot that also basically contributes towards a room here. So they're paying me roughly $1,350. So when I look at my out-of-pocket expense for the property, you know, I'm really only sitting around $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
Wow.
But I get to enjoy 4,400 square feet of property, which is fantastic.
Yes. And could that first unit go up in rent? You know, could you actually Airbnb that one out too, or short-term rent that one up and get that rent up a little bit higher too if you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, the way I've designed it is that I have options for kind of all the above. But the biggest thing too is, you know, where the property is right now. If we are at a low interest rate environment again previously, like we were last year, you know, I think around the 3% interest rate mark that this property would actually break even, and I might be in a cash flow positive situation on my primary residence.
Cool. Well, thanks, Jack, for breaking down all the numbers with us here. And I just wanted to thank you for watching the video here right to the very end. I know as real estate investors, I was kind of curious about the numbers, but you know, we want to hear from you. So drop a comment down below. Like, would you be like a little bit worried about having $9,000 or $10,000 holding costs? We just wanted to show you that it is possible to go find great deals in some of the best postal codes here in Canada. So again, Jack, you know, until the next one, man, really appreciate it. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit a like button, drop us a comment. It goes a long way. It's such a small thing, but it really does help the YouTube gods here. So until next time, Jack, congrats, man. Can't wait to see you next deal.
Thanks for having me, Corey.